If you're serious about optimizing your health, energy, and longevity, then you have to dial in your nutrition and eliminate the junk that's holding you back. Here are 10 essential rules for clean eating to help you perform and live at your highest level. Number 1, eliminate ultra-processed foods. If it's in a box with a long ingredient list, it's not real food. Stick to whole, single-ingredient foods. Number 2, ditch seed oils. Avoid canola, soybean, and sunflower oils. Swap for butter, tallow, avocado oil, or extra virgin olive oil. Number 3, cut out refined sugar and artificial sweeteners. These spike cravings and harm your gut. Use raw honey, maple syrup, or monk fruit instead. 4, prioritize high-quality protein, grass-fed beef, wild-caught seafood, pasture-raised eggs that will fuel your recovery and longevity. Number 5, fuel with healthy fats. MCT oil, butter, animal fats, and coconut oil provide clean energy. Fat is not the enemy. Number 6, drink clean water only. Avoid chlorine, fluoride, and microplastics. Choose spring water, filtered water, or hydrogen-rich water. Number 7, choose organic, mold-free coffee. Most coffee contains mold and pesticides. Opt for lab-tested, toxin-free options. Number 8, optimize your carbs. Stick to organic fruit, raw honey, sweet potatoes, white rice, and other carbs from the earth. 9, say no to fake ingredients. If you see natural flavors, artificial colors, or preservatives, put it in the back. Number 10, mentally reject toxic foods. Train your mind to use the gag reflex at junk foods, fried foods, seed oils, ultra-processed snacks. Final thought, this is the best time in history to take control of your health. The tools and knowledge are here. No more excuses. Dial into your journey, eat clean, and upgrade how you live and perform. It is time to get dialed in. Coming at you from Kaji Vision Podcast Studios in Stamford, Connecticut. Welcome to episode 10 of the Dialed In Podcast.
Number 10. Double digits.
I like the way you looked at me as I was rattling off that intro. You were feeling it.
Yeah, I was feeling it.
I like it.
It's number 10. You made the double digits.
You know, how great is the I love you, bro clip? Thank you to Claudio for putting that together. It's my favorite clip ever.
So good.
By the way, I was reviewing the film. I feel like I am the love initiator, and it would be nice every once in a while to be on the receiving end of it. So maybe we'll switch the format.
You saying I don't give you enough love?
Now, last episode you were talking about hugging me and rolling around with me, so that was pretty interesting. Did you see the jiu-jitsu clip?
Yeah. I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to rope you into there. I'll get you in there eventually.
How's it going? How you feeling?
With that or in general?
Just in general.
I'm feeling good.
What'd you eat this morning?
I had 3 eggs, 2
pasture-raised eggs too, of course.
Yeah, of course. Come on, Miller's Biofarm, 3 eggs.
By the way, they want to do a podcast with us.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Shout out to Miller's Biofarm.
I hope we can set that up.
They invited us to go to their farm, although it's 4 hours away. I don't know if me and you were driving out there unless we do a family trip. But they said they would come to the studio. Claudio, they said they would come here. Look at this. Yeah. We're scheduling right mid-podcast.
No, I really want to. I've always wanted to like sit down with a regenerative farm and just fire away and just ask them about why they do things the way that they do them. You know, why they feel it's better, how the cost is for them. That's got to, be a tough part. That'd be really, really cool to talk to them.
Yeah. You'll be programming that episode.
Yeah. That'll be really fun.
Put that ball in your court.
Have you been ordering?
I am ordering. I'm glad you asked. I just ordered my second order, and I bought Greek yogurt.
Nice.
$70 worth of Greek yogurt. I feel great about that.
What did you get, 2 of them?
5.
You bought 5?
7? You think they're 35 a piece?
No. Did you get the small thing or the big one?
No, the quart, like the normal Greek yogurt quart.
The big glass one, like that big?
It was in plastic.
Okay, then
they sell a glass one?
Yeah. Because I was going to say that's too much. It's going to go bad.
my yogurt will go bad?
You got to, well, make sure you eat it.
When is it going to go bad?
Week and a half.
Even if it's unopened?
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Oh boy, this could be a big mistake by me.
Yeah. You're learning.
Get out of here.
This is real stuff.
Might have to give you one.
Yeah. Yeah. Give it to Ava.
I got to check the expiration.
I have it like on a perfect time. It's basically like a week and a half. Sometimes I push that yogurt out, like for my daughter.
Okay.
You could just like smell it, you'll know, and you could just like taste it a little bit, even if it's like, and it just basically starts to get really like watery, and that's when you know like that with the smell.
Okay.
So you just gotta. I mean, you'll probably go through it.
I mean, I go through it every night.
Yeah. You'll probably get through it. I just try. I don't eat too much of it because I save it for my daughter.
I might be bringing you a quart to the gym this week.
Yeah.
But I feel like I had to dial in my yogurt. I've been getting like Greek organic yogurt, but I it's hard to find that grass fed.
Dude, this stuff's crazy.
Yogurt, so
you're gonna taste the difference. It's insane.
A little more yellow than.
Oh yeah, that's just because like it like separates. Like when you get it, you're gonna see a lot of liquid on the bottom, so you really gotta shake. But when you see the texture of this yogurt, you're gonna just be baffled.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's definitely fattier, but it's unbelievable. I think it's like a natural, like it's just like tames your gut. Like if you're having any problems going on, overeating something, it's unbelievable.
I was kind of hoping Miller's put their macros on the back of their cartons, but they don't.
That's hard to do.
It's hard to do. It's hard to calculate. On their end.
Yeah, they can like roughly probably calculate that based on other databases, but with their products, they would have to individually get those things tested and probably like average it out. But I don't think that's worth the time and the money.
So before my Greek yogurt came from Miller's, I bought Greek yogurt from Miss Green's company called Maple Hill, but I guess I bought vanilla. Mm-hmm. Normally I buy all plain. But I licked the top of the wrapper and I noticed there was more flavor than normal. I'm like, oh, this is vanilla. Uh-oh. So I looked. It said organic. I said, all right, cool. But I don't buy vanilla because, like you said, flavoring, you got to do it yourselves. If not, there's probably something in it. So, of course, there was citric acid in it and I think one other one. But I was right there with the yogurt on my spoon, very close to going non-dialed in. Mm-hmm. And I put the top back on, put it in the fridge. I was about to throw it out. And I gave it to my son. Am I a bad dad for that?
No.
I mean, it's way better than the normal yogurt he's getting.
That's pretty good. Usually just like when they're flavored, it says like natural flavors, and vanilla extract isn't too bad if they use that to like flavor it. Yeah.
Miller's sells a vanilla, organic vanilla.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the other cool stuff that I've got from there. Yeah, I haven't got the colostrum yet. That's awesome.
That's the next product that I want to incorporate in my life is colostrum, hearing how nutrient dense that is. Yeah, and I remember my wife talking about it. That's like the first layer of their breast milk, right?
Yeah. My wife collected it probably for like 2 weeks before the baby came, and we just put them in vials. And it's just good to have because it takes a little bit for the breast milk to come once the baby's born. It doesn't like just switch over right away. And I didn't want her having anything else, my daughter. So that's like all she was having. We had so much of it, so it was like really good. We just kept giving her colostrum, and then it switched over to the breast milk, and she just gave her that. I probably still have some, but that stuff's awesome. That's the right way to like do it. So when you're hearing all the colostrum supplements. Like, it's great and all, but especially for something like that, you got to get it from the source. Supplementing that is not the same as you getting it naturally. I didn't try it yet, though.
We talk about cravings a lot, and I've mentioned how, like, nuts are my snack food. Like, peanut butter, like, I love peanut butter. I eat it every day. It's the one food. Just nuts are one food I may be overindulge in. But anyway, I recently bought... like $60 worth of mixed nuts. Yeah. I bought 6 individual bags of non-GMO organic nuts and then put them in one colossal mixed nut bag. I was looking online to, for companies that sell mixed nuts, they're like $50 a bag. because my wife was bringing home these mixed nuts from Costco. Delicious. But they're all roasted in peanut oil.
Can't go to Costco.
Now, peanut oil, Mark, most people don't know, is one of the seed oils, which was unbeknownst to me because it's a nut. But peanut oil is classified as a seed oil. I'll get into a little bit of peanut oil because it's extracted from the seeds of the peanut plant. So like other industrial seed oils, soybean, canola, sunflower, it undergoes high heat processing and refinement, which could lead to oxidation and the formation of harmful compounds.
Does it use any of the like hexane or what's the other one to process it?
I didn't see anything on that, but it talks about high omega-6 fatty acid content, particularly linoleic acid, which we spoke about recently. So my point is, any of the mixed nuts that anyone is buying, roasted nuts, it's all roasted in peanut oil, seed oil, which we've fired. So fire your nuts.
Yeah, it is. They're usually using hexane to process peanut oil. Yeah.
Hexane just sounds like a terrible chemical. Not knowing what it is.
Let's look.
I know it's part
really
of
dig into what hexane is.
They use that with the production of seed oils. It's one of the things they blast it with.
Yeah, I was trying to find a good peanut oil because my wife and her mom always make the honey balls every year around like
Honey balls.
Yeah, around the
Just
holidays.
a funny name.
And they're so good. And I just see the canola oil coming out to fry them, and I'm like, no. So
Never
I was looking for like a good peanut oil, and I didn't find one yet. I gotta do a better job looking.
So just wanted to touch base about peanut oil and eliminating that from your life.
Hexane actually smells a bit like gasoline.
Yeah.
And they have to...
Which I do like the smell of gas, but not for culinary reasons.
It's a colorless, flammable liquid derived from crude oil refining. How insane is that?
Doesn't sound like it's meant for the food industry or consumption of humans.
It's quite genius how... Because that's when this all started. I forgot... was it the 30s, the 40s, the 50s? Maybe it's around World War II. And that's why it was being used, for the crude oil refining. And the war eventually ended. And they're like, yeah, we got all this crude oil. What are we going to do with it? So
Gotta flip it.
So they figured out a way, how do we use this? And it's just become a cycle because they're like, oh, this is a nice, efficient, cheap way to process oils and sell it, so.
Listen, we're at a food war.
Yeah.
This is a food war. I heard 70% of Americans are either obese or overweight. That's just crazy, Mark.
Yeah. So
it
sucks. It's, like when I go upstate, me and my cousins, we grew up going upstate to Cooperstown a lot. My family has a house up there. And it's like in the middle of nowhere. And it's really cool because we've been going there since like the 90s and then to now. And especially when we used to go up there. And that's a popular place. So this isn't even that bad because it is a tourist there. The Baseball Hall of Fame's there. So there's money there. So it's progressed very well in the past 25, 30 years. But I mean, you go 10, 15, 20 miles outside of that town, it's just like you're in like a completely different area. And it was just making me think of that 30 years ago, in Cooperstown, around there. There's not much food availability. There's like that one grocery store and it's Price Chopper, and like they don't have, you're not getting organic stuff. Now there's more of that stuff, but then you're not getting, no, I want organic grass-fed beef. I want, really good pork. Oh, do you guys have wild-caught salmon here as well? No, you're not getting all that stuff. So it just makes me think, it's hearing those stats, it's bad, but we've been so obsessed with generating more revenue by making food more available and putting grocery store after grocery store all, street by street. It's a bad thing, but it's a good thing. in areas where, we used to have to drive 20 miles and there's a bad snowstorm. You know what I mean? And there's that one grocery store up there. The grocery store looks like the day after tomorrow when a snowstorm's coming. It's like just gutted out because people are like stocking up. So it's like, a gift and a curse, having food availability,
So I added a new food yesterday, something I've wanted to incorporate into my routine. You were just mentioning wild caught salmon. This food is sardines.
Yep.
Been hearing a lot about sardines, how the smaller seafood has less mercury, so they're very nutrient dense. Sardines are packed with omega-3 fatty acids for heart and brain health, calcium, vitamin D for strong bones, high-quality protein for muscle repair. They're a nutritional powerhouse that also provides B12 for energy and selenium for immune support. So I opened up the can, and it smelled a little like tuna, so immediately I said, I'm going to make a tuna salad, a sardine salad, because I make a pretty good tuna salad. So I chopped up some pickles, an organic onion, some clean mayo, non-Hellmann's, added an avocado, salt, pepper, mashed it all up. It was good.
Just want to say, I think one of the hardest things for people to switch over into doing like fully clean and replacing it is mayo.
Why that? Why so?
I don't know. I it's just something I haven't messed around with really like making it at home yet. Like really paying
I'm
attention.
interested in that.
Yeah, making it. So I don't, maybe I am wrong, but I've tried so many other mayos before, not recently, more so in the past, of trying to get like a better and clean one, and they're just all like, wow, that's horrible. So I got to try to tinker with doing it at home. I'm sure it'll be quite expensive to make because if I do it the right way, I'm probably going to have to get like, I'm going to be using my eggs from Miller's but I find that is like a one thing that people are like, nah, I'm not getting rid of Hellmann's. Hellmann's is here to stay.
Yeah. Hellmann's is fired.
Sardines really high in omega-3.
It's funny. I grew up thinking sardines were disgusting because there was a movie reference in the movie The Burbs. You might be a little young for The Burbs.
Yeah,
Claudio, ever see The Burbs? Tom Hanks. One of his creepy neighbors talks about, do you want sardines?
Yeah.
And I just remember seeing that as an 8th grader and filing sardines as disgusting.
Yeah.
And I literally didn't have one until yesterday because of the movie reference.
Yeah, I can't eat it.
But we do that a lot with things that we grow up associating with something that somebody said or we learned somewhere, and we hold it to be true forever.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not and I think a big problem with my seafood, my fish consumption in general, is that I've had, and I think this happens with a lot of food. When people are like, no, I don't like red meat. Oh no, I don't like chicken, or
I don't like the taste.
yeah, I don't like mushrooms. Right? I think you forget about what were your first few experiences eating those foods, and it's just
Is there trauma behind it?
Yeah, no, I think it's subconsciously your association with like, yeah, no, I'm not eating that. I did that a lot for a while with salmon because every time I was trying to reintroduce salmon back into my diet, I started doing it in college. I'm like, I gotta start eating like salmon, and I ate salmon at my cafeteria at college.
Questionable.
I mean, I
Extremely questionable.
almost threw up right there in the cafeteria. So it's stuff like that. I've never really had a good experience with eating like anchovies and sardines.
That's another one, anchovies.
Yeah, those are all mackerel.
Amazing the relationship between anchovies and pizza. When did they become such great friends?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't see a ton of people still eating it,
my
but you
father
see it on the menu.
loves anchovies with loves it.
But all they are is a little salty, briny burst. They sound way more disgusting than they taste.
I like the way it described it. It says anchovies, tiny but mighty.
Oh, that's good. Mark, we got to give a shout out to my friend Dave Regina. We did 9 episodes in basically his podcast house. Oh, Claudio, yours as well. And we haven't shouted him out. We would only be here if we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Dave and the No Snooze podcast. So
Awesome.
We want to share with our audience about Dave. He's the host of the No Snooze podcast, which is a platform dedicated to personal growth, discipline, and high performance habits. He shares his insights on entrepreneurship, fitness mindset, and the daily grind required to achieve success. The podcast emphasizes the no snooze mentality, a commitment to consistency, accountability, and pushing past excuses. Dave is also an active speaker and coach, inspiring individuals to level up in all areas of his life. His presence at the ACE Summit highlights his dedication to leadership and personal development as he shares strategies to help others maximize their potential and execute on their goals. So big shout out to Mr.
Dave.
Regina. Could be a future guest of ours as well.
Awesome.
So great job, Claudio. You shout out as well. I'm loving your podcast house. It's like a record label of podcasters.
Or record label for podcasts. Yeah, you might need to start a record label.
Hey, look, I just got my hydrogen bottle back. I got a brand new one. My other one broke. I might have overcharged it. However, I hit up the website, the tech support. I said, it's not working. I said, no trabajos. And they asked me a series of questions for which I answered no to all of them. And then they shipped me another bottle, but they shipped it to the wrong address. They shipped it to my brother's because I bought one for my brother a couple months ago. So anyway, I said, hey guys, you shipped it to the wrong address. They said, oh, our fault. We'll ship you a new one.
So now he got one.
So, well, no, that one's coming with me. I'll have two. I'll have one for the road.
No, I'm getting it back.
And one for home because he already has one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I was happy they sent me an extra one. I would have just taken the one that they shipped to him. I would have done the honest thing. But they immediately offered. So I said, okay, no problem.
Who owns that brand? Do you know?
Echo Water. Yeah, I do know. It's written right on it. But I don't know. This is my first day having it in 3 weeks. The placebo effect is real. I'm feeling
the placebo effect is
feeling
real.
this positive energy roll through my body.
You can be right. Just give it a few. Just gotta give it time, and all the stuff will start coming out. But yeah, omega-3, highly important.
Let's see what else I got before we get into some of these community questions, because I have a bunch of questions lined up for you, sir. But I just wanted to touch on, food skills. What are food skills to you? I heard that term this week, and I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What does it mean to have food skills?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
Food skills?
Yeah.
To me personally, I think you should be comfortable with interacting with food and creating it and cutting food, how it needs to be cooked, understanding how maybe different animal proteins need to be cooked, recipes. Yeah, you shouldn't feel like, hey, Paul, can you make dinner tonight? You shouldn't be stressed by that idea. And that just takes time, like cooking and messing around on your own time. Yeah.
So I think if we're asking people to be dialed in, you have to have a certain level of food skills, right? So this is like a requirement. Everyone listening should be trying to up your game, like Mark said, with whether it's your knowledge of the food, understanding the source, understanding how to prepare it, different ingredients, being creative. So basically just refers to the techniques, the knowledge, the habits needed to make informed, healthy food choices to prepare nutritious meals. So it includes meal planning, grocery shopping, highlighting unprocessed ingredients, understanding nutrition labels, cooking fresh, minimally processed foods, and balancing macronutrients for optimal health. I just thought that was a good term. That's something that we want to be good at.
Yeah, I think, we talked about this before. It's really important, I think, to interact with what you're eating, and we just don't do that at all. I was basically talking about this with my client the other day. Guys, he's working really hard. And I said, he's just asking me, like, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? He's trying to just, every variable he's trying to, like, get better at. And I'm like, yeah, you need to cook more. And I get it. He's like, I don't have time. I'm like...
Reasons or excuses?
Yeah, I'm like I understand you got a lot going on, but I'm like, you can, even if it's for 15 minutes, even if it's just you making ground beef and putting it in some jasmine rice or whatever, and I just think it's how you kind of...
Jasmine makes some good rice, by the way. Shout out to Jasmine.
So good. I just think it's how you look at the glass, if it's half full or it's half empty. And I just feel like it's a little bit of baloney when people say that. I just feel
We are not messing with bologna either.
Baloney's bad.
Bologna's finished.
There's a lot of people in this world that just do not have the luxury to sit there and be like, oh, I don't have time to prepare my food. If they don't prepare their food and make their food, they're not eating. They don't have pre-made food to go to. They don't have yogurts in a cup already, you know. So like, I just feel like it's 2025. If I were to grab anyone's phone and look at their time usage, I bet you I can find 60 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we could get that data.
Yeah,
It's available.
like some people, like newer clients that I work with, they go, yeah, I just don't have time. Like there's so many times when I just be like,
Like your time
like
is so...
I want them to sign like you have to show me your phone usage.
Yeah, let's
So-
check the receipts.
So I can find 60 minutes of time for you to prepare food a little bit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's important to have food skill. You know, it's just even just cutting vegetables and
But when I hear I don't have time to prepare my meals, I also hear I don't have time to be healthy.
yeah.
That's just what I hear.
I don't want to say that. I just think a lot of time goes on.
But they're not prioritizing it. It's
Yeah, I
not a
know,
priority.
but they're
when
not,
it's a priority, you have time.
they're not. Yeah, but they're so much time has gone on that they have created a routine for themselves. On top of they've had bad experiences with cooking, how to cook, the stress that comes with it. Oh my God, I just spent 40 minutes making this and I just overcooked the whole meal. You know, it's not as good, right? So I don't want to say like it's like only about that. I think it's like you asking me to make videos and content, bro.
I'm not asking you again, bro. You won't hear me
You
ask
see what I'm saying? No, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just it's you have time in your head that you give to things that are truly like non-negotiable stuff, and it's just not as easy as being like you need to do a master class and learn how to cook by the end of the week. It's you know, some people are mentally drained at the end of the day. People are working at a desk on a computer all day. They're not ready to be in a good mood about cooking a bunch of food inside 40 minutes and doing it the right way before going to bed. You know what I mean? So I think it's, you know, I'm not making excuses for them, but it's we gotta ease them into being happy about cooking.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
We're here for health and happiness.
How much do you cook a lot?
Yeah.
I think now you do.
What do you mean? Yeah, now I do. Now that I'm
but
dialed.
You're doing like what I do, which is what I think we should explain to people. We're not always sitting there. I explain this to my mother-in-law a lot. When she cooks, it's the same thing every time in terms of the process. It's like we're going to make a protein, we're going to make a carb, we're going to make a vegetable, this is the fat. We're going to make 3 different vegetables. And it's this big, stressful production most of the time. It's a lot. You know, you're talking about timing, making 6 things and all of it to come out hot.
Yeah.
For everyone to sit down and
I'm
eat
not
dinner.
on that type of time.
Exactly, right? So I try saying that sometimes. There's a time and the place when I do that at home, you know, for like my wife and my daughter. My wife's going to cook. There's a day of the week, 2 days out of the week where we're going to do that. We're going to cook like that. But the other 5 days out of the week, I'm just thinking, what does my body need? And I have to get that in, and I have to do it in a time efficient manner, right? So maybe that is getting cups of yogurt. That's why I got my beef sticks, right? Then I hard boiled eggs, right? So I think we can simplify, and I think that's what you're doing. That's how you're cooking. You're not really cooking to make this.
I'm streamlining it.
Yeah, you're just like, this is what I'm eating because I need to get this stuff in for my lifestyle right now.
Yep.
And I think people just get immediate like, oh, I got to make a 5-course dinner.
Nah,
No, you don't need to do that.
No, you're right.
Just make your chicken. You season it a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. You want to add a tiny bit of like something, you know, you need a little something sweet. You add a tiny bit of honey to it, or a tiny bit of
Monk fruit.
Yeah, or you know, maple syrup, like something like good. It doesn't need to be this crazy big production. You don't need 3 different vegetables. So I don't stress when I cook because that's how simple it is for me. Because I'm not eating to do this production. I'm eating to get the nutrients that I need in. I need some red meat. I need a little bit of vegetables. And you know what? I worked out really hard, so I'm going to make a little bit of sweet potato and put just salt, pepper, and rosemary on it.
Okay.
Doesn't need to be crazy.
I cook eggs every day. I cook ground meat every second or third day. I'm doing one crock pot a week now that I got the beef chuck. So I put the beef chuck in the crock pot with zucchini, peppers, onions.
Yep.
That's not really cooking. That's chopping and seasoning. But you're right. Like, there's no glamorous long meals. Plus, I'm in a routine of the same meals every day. Plus, I'm fasting. I'm only eating one meal a day. So there's a lot less of it.
Yeah. So, that's... People cherry pick kind of the cons of all this stuff. And, like, I think that's one... Because I've never actually said that about fasting. That's a good point.
Thank you.
It's like that saves you when people are upset about, like, I don't have the time. That would save you a lot of time. Maybe it saves you time in the morning to, like, go about your morning routine and then go to work. And that's, like, a good point. Like, that you structure the time in your day, and this is your time, and that's the one time that you cook, and you're not cooking to make it look like a Michelin star dinner. You're just cooking the stuff that you need to get in, and it's getting the eggs in, some of the beef, and, I don't know, whatever else you're putting on it. But that's all. It doesn't need to be a production, I think that's the importance of what I learned with bodybuilding is that I'm not eating to be decorative right now. Like, when I was bodybuilding, I ate the same thing almost every day. And then
Facts over flavor.
Yeah, and on the weekend, I'd go crazy, but the same thing every day. I woke up, I had a 3-egg omelet with some cheddar and onion in it. I had a bowl of oatmeal, and then I had like 2 hard-boiled eggs. I'd go to class, I'd try to finish class and go back for breakfast again, do breakfast again. I'd go to class, I'd come back, 2 pieces of grilled chicken with sriracha and honey and a whole bunch of rice and a salad that was hitting the ceiling. I would do that 2 to 3 times. And then I would try to fight off how hungry I was at night, because I was like super hungry when I was bodybuilding. But I ate the same things every day, and I didn't care. It was just, this is what I need.
To your point on hunger, and let's just close with this before we get into our questions. When you eat great, you eat less. When you eat like crap, you eat more. It's one thing I've realized and lived out through my transformation. I'm eating less. I'm not as hungry because I'm eating better. I'm eating more nutrient-dense foods that are satiating me. And when you eat the junk, ultra-processed stuff, you just keep going back for more. Because like we spoke about, it's addicting. So it's just a very simple concept. Mark Hyman, one of the guys we spoke about last week, has a book called Eat Fat, Get Skinny. What a title, huh? It's pretty awesome. All right.
It's people just at this point, they're just not like spending money and valuing food. And if someone, when their lease is up or their car's in, they got to get a new car, you go and get a nice car. And what do? You just got a brand new car. You spent money on it, like good money. Like, what do? You keep the car clean. You care about it. You cherish the car because you just got this brand new thing. Maybe you get a brand new pair of shoes, and you put it in the box, and it's in your closet, and it's you cherish it. We don't do that with food. We're buying everything cheap all the time, so it's just like, it's cheap. It's cheap. You don't care about it. Now, you're buying that stuff from Miller's.
I know what's up now.
Yeah, no, seriously, you're paying for serious stuff. You're not sitting there wasting it. And if you do, you're like, oh, I can't.
I know. I'm thinking of that yogurt right now.
Yeah.
Leave the podcast right now.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't waste that stuff.
Yeah.
I notice it with the yogurt for my daughter, the cheese that I get her, the ground beef. It was like, you should have saw, like, my wife was like, I took out ground beef. I thought I was going to make it in the morning. I didn't make it in the morning. So now it was defrosted, just sitting in the fridge, and like 2 days went by. And it was getting pretty hectic in the house. Like, we got to make this ground beef so it doesn't go bad because we're not wasting that. So, I think we need to get back to, it's like the equipment, Claudio's equipment in here. All this stuff is pristine. He cares about it because this shit is expensive. You know what I mean?
His studio is dialed in.
So dialed in. Unbelievable.
So I went to your channel on Discord and I went back about 2 years of the thread, copy and pasted everything into ChatGPT. I said, line up some great questions from our community. So that's one way I used AI to work for me. So I have a list of about 30 questions. We'll try to get to as many as we can. We're not going to get to all 30. Okay. First one is from Kevin Smith. By the way, there's about, how many Kevin Smiths are there in the world?
Quite
but
a lot.
no one's like you, Kevin, from the Crown Refs community. He says, any pro tips on hamstring care or stretching?
Hamstring care? I mean, he refs, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so anytime someone is running, but I see a lot of this problem with I'll get a little bit more general just to speak to more people that probably deal with this with their lower back and their hamstring. You get really good at what you do a lot of. So if you're just constantly sitting and your hamstrings are always in the same place, they get good at staying in that position. If you don't stimulate your hamstrings, some people do, but they don't stimulate the range of motion for them. You know, it's something that you've really been working on now, a lot, you know, with some of the more advanced Jefferson curl stuff that you're doing. You want to get your hamstrings to a point that they can handle tension in far ranges of motion. And that's kind of what a lot of people don't do. They're stimulating their hamstrings, you know, with lifts, but they're not paying attention to, like, how do I stimulate this but increase my range of motion, not just pump my hamstrings up so they heal overnight, they're really sore, and I put muscle on. Like, that's great. You can put muscle on, which is awesome, but your muscle's just getting strong in this, like, short range of motion. That's a problem when someone is running and sprinting and changing direction, and that's a big no-no for an athlete. And I just kind of put them and the official in the same thing. The official's running at a little bit of a lighter pace, obviously, less aggressive, but they're constantly running and changing directions, so they're lengthening their hamstrings a lot. So I always say, if you add aggressive stretching routines, not so much like a yoga routine, like look into gymnastics, loaded stretching routines, and you work that, you're going to be quite sore. And if you're eating the right way, you will heal and you will put new muscle tissue, you know, on, and you'll have more range of motion, and that will help your hamstring, your lower back. And I think that solves a lot of the first step at solving the problem with people having back pain is fixing that problem with their hamstrings and their lower back. And then there's other things, but I'm not going to get into it.
I was doing Nordic curls yesterday. Great hamstring exercise.
That's the best hamstring exercise. That is the best hamstring exercise.
That's no joke.
That's the best one.
It's hard.
Yeah. How I look at it is I see people who, and I'm not saying their hamstrings are very, very strong, doing deadlifts and, oh, it's great. You deadlift 400 pounds, 500 pounds, whatever, 350, 300. All right, now show me you could do a Nordic curl. You know, let someone hold on to your ankles maybe, or if you can use the machine and eccentrically stretch your hamstring like that. So who did I see doing it? I think Saquon Barkley was doing it.
It's Saquon.
Sorry.
Saquon.
No, that it's just like to run that fast and handle that type of stretching load, you have to be able to do something like that. If you cannot do that as an athlete and you deadlift a whole bunch, but you can't do that what I do, I'd be like, you're dancing with the devil of you. It's a lot easier for you to tweak your hamstring than you think. Ito doesn't shut up about the Nordic curl. Mm-hmm. And he can do the full one. He goes all the way down. He touches his nose to the ground and his body's fully straight. You're probably doing the bent one right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't break. So same thing with Saquon. He doesn't break.
Glad you said it correctly.
He could do the full one where like he's just straight and he just falls all the way forward and his nose can touch the ground and he can come back up. Mm-hmm. That is a bulletproof hamstring. That's what you want. Yeah.
Next question is from Jacob Polanco. How about stretching or mobility tips for the muscle around the shin bone?
Ooh, stretching and
new
mobility
area of the body. We haven't touched
the shin bone
much.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of, you know, you want your dorsiflexion and your plantar flexion in your foot to be, you know, inversion, eversion at the ankle. You basically want your whole ankle to move really fluid. So you can kind of get onto like FRC stuff. That's like the hip cars that I make you do, where you just like kind of gliding your hip out.
Excellent.
They do that for ankles also. They do it for every joint. So that's from like a movement standpoint, just like challenge your ankles to move around. I always tell people definitely be careful, just don't get hurt. Exercising with no shoes on. You want flat shoes, but you really want the benefit, exercise with no shoes on. Your feet need to interact with the ground. And that interaction, you're using a lot of the calf muscles a lot more than you think. Whereas when you put a shoe on, that's something I'm trying to get you into, because you're always wearing your padded shoes. Your every fiber, every toe is interacting with the ground much differently when you have that shoe on. When you have that shoe on, you have it's like putting mittens on.
Okay.
And you can't spread your toes out.
What about, I know shoes off for doing legs. What about for jumping?
So that's where it depends on the person that I have. I have an athlete that I have absolutely, I don't have 3 years to sit here, 2 years to sit here and mold him, right? Because his basketball season's starting in 4.5 months, right? I don't really necessarily have time to waste the first month you're doing everything barefoot. And I got to make sure you're jumping. And when you jump, you should be able to jump barefoot, meaning you should be able to land barefoot. That shows me that you're doing it the right way. If you can't do that, if you could do it with shoes on, but you can't do it with shoes off, it shows me that you're actually not jumping and landing the correct way. It's kind of the whole theory about bare knuckle fighting versus fighting with gloves on. That because you're wearing the equipment to protect you, you throw more wild. You throw with less awareness of what you're doing.
Makes sense.
When you don't have anything on and there's a consequence of doing something too aggressive, it makes you pay attention to the technique of what you're doing more. But to your point, if I have an athlete and I don't have time, or someone just has a really quick goal, they're only going to be with me for 4 months and they have a goal, I gotta, I can't. Yeah, you're not going to be doing long jumps with no shoes on right now because you're going to be banging your knees up, because there's more impact. So you have to be smarter with the way that you do it. So, if you have time, you want to build that up. I just told my athlete the other day, you come in here, shoes off, because he's coddled by the shoes that he's wearing. And I take a lot of pride at that. The way that I'm constantly, jumping around, jumping rope with no shoes on, bending my ankles in very, very wacky ways, because I always want to say, I try to make it a point to be able to play basketball in these flat shoes, because it just, my knees will feel a little bit, but it shows me that I'm not coddling my ankles. I don't need padded stuff to jump up and down. So I just think it's this false sense of,
Fair points.
Yeah.
Fair points. I'll consider
but
jumping.
be careful. You got to be careful. 'Cause
Cushionless.
It is a lot of impact.
Our boy Chris Valeros has a question.
Shout out, Chris.
Once the season starts, so this question was asked in October. Once the season starts, you're reffing every day, traveling, getting your workouts in. What's the best way to go about maintaining your muscle/endurance that you built throughout the preseason leading up to the season?
So this is where I've spoke about the cons a little bit of fasting. It's if you make a whole bunch of progress with strength and stuff, and say someone like him, he's traveling a lot, he can't exercise as much. Now, when you start getting into spacing how much you're eating out too much, you're going to just go through phases of your blood sugar going up, and then you're not eating for another 8 hours. So your blood sugar goes up, and then eventually it crashes and it gets lifted back up. So for him and what he's saying about strength and keeping some of the gains that he's made, the progress, I don't want his blood sugar doing this, because he might start using amino acids like alanine to regulate his blood sugar. So I would pay attention to stabilizing. This is from a performance standpoint. That's what that question is. So that there's two different things. So you're trying to lean up, right, and decrease your body fat percentage, or are you asking me about performance? From a performance standpoint, I do not want your blood sugar going like this. I want it stabilize. So you have to constantly feed on things that do that. That would be a good example of having a bag of walnuts with you, because it's just long-term energy. So you're going to eat that. It's not going to make your blood sugar go crazy, but it's going to last you a while, and it's going to keep your blood sugar regulated. You know, it's protein intake. And so that's where, you know, making sure you're not going too long. If you're not exercising as much because you're traveling for whatever reason, making sure your blood sugar is not doing this too much. That's the tip that I would give. Stabilizing your blood sugar so it never potentially loses muscle.
You think I could have a perfect pour right here? As I
How much
empty
coffee
my
did you have
filtered water, 2 cups already.
today?
As I enter my filter water. Ooh, perfect pour.
Yeah, but now it's going to overflow and you got to drink some. Yeah.
That always happens with my coffee. I fill it up just too much.
Yeah,
and
I
then
do
when I
that
put the cap on, I open the cap because I know it's going to shoot out the top.
Yeah, that happens to me.
Sorry to interrupt the podcast. Just wanted to thank you for being here and joining us on this journey. The fact that you're here shows your commitment to your own transformation, and that's something you should celebrate. We're here to help you every step of the way, and we want to hear from you. So if you have questions or thoughts or breakthroughs that you want to share, reach out to us directly at thedialedinpodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on any one of your socials. Now, let's get back to the podcast. We have a question here from Isaac McAllister. Looking to add some core and ab workouts to my routine. Do you have any suggestions, Mr. Vaccaro?
This is always such a fun topic because everyone always says the same thing. Like isn't it funny? It's just something about the abs and
Yeah.
Do you have this magic ab exercise for my core?
Right.
And there's just no such thing. There's just it's this. I get it from a standpoint like your core is the most important spot because it's just your foundation, and everyone thinks of their core as just their abs, and it's not. It's the whole cylinder around your spine. There's no magic exercise. I mean, you've been doing that for a while. You're kind of like good with it now. A lot of the breathing technique stuff, you know, the stick drill, you're laying down, just holding a hollow hold and just breathing. I think that's really, really important to do. I used to do so much bodybuilding and did every ab exercise in the world, and my core never felt stronger until I started doing those breathing drills and then getting into real full range leg raises.
Just to stop you there, to your point about the breathing exercise, when I read the 4-hour diet years ago, one of the things he mentioned the best ab exercise was when you are like throwing up. The physical, what you're doing when you're throwing up and like compressing or contracting your abs.
Yeah.
It's like I was like, wow, that's really interesting because I've been sore the next day after throwing up. Yep. So it kind of goes to your point with the stick drill.
You're breathing out really, really hard when you're like vomiting. Yeah. Yep. And then one thing I would say about the abs, everyone's so stuck on their abs looking really good, and they're basically trying to do a whole bunch of like concentric motion. It's like my bicep. I want my biceps to look better, so I want them to like pump up, and you basically want your muscle to shorten so it looks more like a ball. People do that with their abs, which is fine, and so they're doing a lot of crunching all the time. If you want to protect your back for longevity, you want to get your abs really strong like that, but you have to make sure that you're also stretching them. So we do a lot of the back bends, do a lot of the wall rotations. This is why bridges are important. The best ab exercise, if I'm not mistaken, they talk about it in the movement method. What do you think is the hardest ab exercise, the most like ab activation you can possibly do? What do you think? It could be think of the craziest skill that someone can do. It's not like an exercise. It's like a skill. Back handsprings. From the stretching, because it's eccentric,
and then
of you
lifting
going
the legs
back
up.
and then your legs coming up, you kind of go into like a crunch.
Yeah.
They were talking about like, this is why skills, you got to look at skills like this, because everyone looks at, I'm going to go do my ab crunches. I'm going to do 50 of them. You're doing 50. Imagine I told you, if you were capable, hey, you're coming in the gym, get warm. The first 20 minutes of this workout, you're doing sets of back handsprings. Do 10 back handsprings. That's one set. you know how tired and gassed you would be, how explosive that is? But because it's a very hard skill, you're not ever going to see, and the space that you have, you're not going to be like, I'm doing 5 sets of 10 reps of back handsprings. That's such a complex thing that you're doing. That's why I say aim for skills, because you don't need to actually do as much. You know, when you're doing chest and you're doing this and you're doing that, what's the difference between that stuff, you know, using weights and bands versus go on the rings and do muscle ups and do, right? You're not doing 12 to 15 muscle ups. It's not happening. You're doing 3 to 5 maybe. And then you just gas out, and then you got to like actually recover for like a minute and a half and then go again. You're not doing what you normally do at weights. Like, I'm going to do 12 reps. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do push-ups. Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do flies. You don't really need to rest because it's so simple. So aim for skills when it comes to your core.
I know, speaking personally, we do a lot of core activation exercises throughout, whether it's chest, whether it's back. We're incorporating abs into everything. And there's no like, oh, the last 5 minutes we're going to go do crunches. We do a lot of leg raises and knee ups. But my point is, I don't think there's a particular exercise that are going to get you a 6-pack. I felt my abs under my stomach fat for a long time. I'm like, oh, I have abs. They're just not visible.
Yeah.
And now I have visible abs, and it's straight up in the kitchen.
Yep.
There's nothing extra I'm doing. There's no
Yep.
innovative ab exercises that'll get you, you know, your abs popping out. It's all kitchen habits.
I'm dealing with this with one of my clients. I just notice, because it's how I mean, you know how I structure the workout routines now. But I just notice every workout, he's like, yeah, you know, let's do, you know, we're going to do like legs and abs.
Yeah,
we're going to do like we're going to do like back and abs and chest and abs. I'm like, first of all, you do
chill, Brody.
Yeah, you're doing your core every day. You just want your core to just be like, I'm working on my 6-pack muscle, my rectus abdominis. But I am doing it every day with him. I'm just doing it in a different way. I'm doing it with skill, like do knee raises, do leg raises, do hollow holds and breathe. It doesn't always need to be this bodybuilding type of, you know, ab crunch. But it's just like funny. Everyone's just so, you know. But I'm happy that like that's where you are with it now. It's just, it's not, I just feel like you're getting to the point now.
You're proud of me.
Yeah, because you're finding you're not becoming transactional with your workout anymore. You're paying attention to the right things now, which is like, I'm not, you know, why am I still doing these abs? Why am I still doing these abs, right? Like, it's so programmed, like you have to do like different stuff. Like, I did these abs the other day. What I always tell you, do leg raises. She's like, oh, I just did them. I'm like, do them again. You know what I mean?
Go slower.
Yeah.
Perfect them.
Yes.
Hone it in.
Yes.
Dial it in.
Yeah.
Can we keep going on?
Yeah.
Just keep
No, but you know what I mean? Like you're becoming less like I just need to do these ab exercises for my abs. You're just doing everything now with the intention of how do I get better with my flexibility, my J curls. So maybe I could do a press handstand, right? So.
Oh, here's a great ab exercise. Cut out man-made carbs and ultra-processed foods. It's the best one. Incredible.
No, but it's like, that's what I've been dealing with. He's like, he's associating with more abs
Crunch,
with
sit-ups,
his abs. And I'm like, he's doing everything really good, but I'm trying to shave and add these other things in for him. Cause I'm like, it comes from the kitchen.
That's right.
You know, so I'm trying to get him to like cook more, like just try it, just do it, just, you know, like don't order out.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it's been hard.
Yo, sit-ups had a long run of being the top ab exercise. What a
listen,
run, huh?
They're good. The sit-ups are good if you fatigue your.
It's the first ab exercise.
I mean, listen, if you do them the right way and you understand why you're doing them, like I'm laying on the ground and my feet are up and I'm trying to like articulate my spine up off the floor and then come up and like extend. And then when I come down, I'm trying to roll my spine back down to the ground and then lay down. No one's really paying attention to why they're doing it. They're just like, they're just trying to like crunch their abs.
Rep it out.
Yeah, they're trying to like Rocky Balboa their abs, you know?
Chris has another question. This one's for me because it's about fasting, and you're not a faster. Are you drinking water up to 5 p.m. daily? Or what are you drinking throughout the day? Yeah, it's just water and black coffee. And actually, that's it. I was going to say coconut water, but that's at night because that would have broken my fast. So, yeah, just water and coffee.
Yeah, I've had some issues with this. I'm trying to like dial that part in
I don't think I asked you.
because
I thought I was going to handle this answer.
what?
I'm just kidding.
No, I know. I was just no. I know you weren't asking me. I was just talking about like the water intake in general. Because I was reading into, who was it? Might have been Paul or Gary Brecka. No, it might have been it was Brian Johnson. It was Brian. Because I've dealt with this because I'm so obsessed with being hydrated. And Claudio probably feels this now because I'm bothering him about being hydrated. Drinking too much water close to bed, and I have to get up at 2 or 3 or 4 a.m. Because I'm gonna like pee my pants.
I'm trying to be more mindful of that too.
And that messes it messes your deep sleep up. Like you're completely disrupting your sleep process. So I'm trying to get better at that window of time that I'm drinking, my fluid.
That's another dial-in I had. I know I've mentioned I'm eating my yogurts too late at night, sometimes 10:30. Now I'm trying to move it up to 8:30.
Well, it's hard with you because you got a short window.
I have a short window, you're right.
When are you eating? When do you start eating?
Generally around 6 o'clock.
Yeah. So, I mean, you really don't have that much room to really do that with. Yeah.
I like the small window.
I think you should just have a yogurt in the morning.
I'll have a yogurt.
And how dare you break my fast?
I'm a weekday faster, so I won't have the yogurt during the weekday.
Yeah.
But during the weekend, I ate breakfast this morning. I wasn't hungry, though. It's almost like my breakfast is during the weekend. I'm kind of forcing it because my body's so used to not eating breakfast.
You need Marky Mark to cook you some breakfast. I cook you some breakfast, you'll be hungry.
Yeah, definitely. We have another question from the lovely Micaiah Moore. By the way, she may be in the NBA in 5 years. So
oh, wow.
Be nice with her, okay?
Okay.
She has a question about what to eat before the gym. Lately, the only time I've been able to get to the gym is around 6:30 a.m. I don't eat that early, but I start off the day with plain green tea. Any suggestions as to things I can eat or drink at such an early hour?
Say the first part again.
I guess she wants to know, is there anything she should be eating before the gym? She has a plain green tea, but she's kind of stuck in between. Do I eat before or after? Or is there something small I can have before?
If you're trying to only promote losing fat, then you want to do an amino acid 30 to 60 minutes before or 60 to 90 minutes before you do like actual just protein. And that gets your blood sugar ready to start burning during the workout more. And the quicker you can burn all that glucose off, the quicker you might start tapping into like burning fat. So from that standpoint of just burning fat, it's protein before. My professor used to talk about from a bodybuilding standpoint of like you're not necessarily thinking only about burning fat. You're thinking about how much muscle can I continue to put on? Because like if you say you're not burning fat and you're putting 1 pound of fat on, but you put 3 pounds of muscle on, you're obviously winning the battle at your body fat percentage decreasing because you're putting way more muscle on than fat, okay? They discuss with clean food, pigging out before. I would stay away from fats, more so protein and carbs, pigging out before you go work out. You're just going to have to deal with a little bit of the blood sugar crash that you might feel. But in terms of eating a bunch of carbohydrates and protein that by the time you eat it, digest it, work out, it's probably in there storing away right at the amount, the time that you'd be drinking like a recovery shake to promote, getting fuel back in there. So when you go to sleep later that night, you're going to probably heal your muscle tissue. So from like a put muscle on standpoint, and you're not trying to like lean up, you eat a very nutritious, dense, calorically dense breakfast before you go exercise. If you're just trying to strictly like, I want to lean up, burn fat, longevity, a little bit of protein or aminos before you go work out. Yeah.
For me, in my situation, when I'm going to the gym fasted, would you prefer that I have a little bit of protein before the gym?
No,
Carbs?
you need a carbohydrate that's going to be ready quite quickly. So the first 30, 45 minutes, 60
Doesn't
minutes
burn
of your
fat.
workout.
Doesn't burn muscle.
Yeah, you want to have that. I just you're to me, dude, you're awesome right now. Like you're super lean. You can get like leaner. I just think you could probably just put on now, if you want, 2 pounds of muscle in every little compartment. And the way that you're going to do that is making sure you're not burning any muscle off while you're working out and pushing everything even harder. And that would just be giving yourself a little bit of gasoline just so you're not losing any muscle. So it'd be fruit. Yeah. You could do protein too. Like for you, it would probably be what I just said, like the bodybuilding performance way, which is like right when you're walking in the gym, eat like a Greek yogurt with a whole bunch of fruit in it, like a half a banana, some strawberries, and then but like get going, like 15 minutes, eat that, and then get going, like some honey, because the honey will be active pretty quick by the time you're done warming up. Yeah.
Brady Stiff has a fasting question. Did you build up to 20 to 4 fasting, meaning 20 hours fasting, 4 hours eating, or did you dive right in? So in my opinion, fasting is like this muscle that you build up. I didn't jump right in to the 24, although if you can, go for it.
Yeah.
I remember, just for me throughout my work day, 11 o'clock was my normal lunch. So when I started fasting, having to make it through that 11 to 12 hour was a little challenging at first. Then I do that, and then I was eating my lunch at 2:30. So getting to the 2:30 hour was a little challenging. Then I did that. Then not bringing my food to work and not eating at 2:30. Then making it to the gym at 4 o'clock, which gets me to break my fast around 5:36. So there were definitely levels to this. And then from there, being able to make it to 24 hours, which we spoke about my 42-hour fast at the end. So it's all just gradual levels to everything. So go at your own pace, but you should be getting better and better at it. Should be easier at it.
Yeah.
Pedro says going strictly organic can be pricey. What are some alternatives or ways you have found to get around the pricing?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to go organic, it would just be paying attention to ingredients and just making sure they're not adding a whole bunch of ingredients to the things that you're buying. It doesn't necessarily need to be organic. It means like you're not having, this is a bad example because I don't really eat this, but you're not having oats with X, Y, and Z in the ingredients, even though it doesn't say that this is organic oats. That's what I'd say. Like if you can't, you're talking about $100, $200 extra, a week, $300 extra, just because you're like getting organic stuff all the time and that saves you. I would pay attention to that, just ingredients, not eating ingredients that you can't read the name of. Just more whole source food. That's what I would say. More protein, no dressings, none of that stuff.
I feel good about the money I spend on cleanly sourced food, like the yogurt, like me.
It's just for me, dude. It's just a non-negotiable in my head. It's not something that I'd rather wear the same 2 or 3 pairs of shoes for the next 8 months and not buy new shoes every 8 months that are $200 or $150 or like the only thing I spend my money on, dude, that's a non-negotiable for me. This is what I prioritize my money for. All the other stuff, I'll save it. I won't go to the movies. I won't go to this.
Movies.
Me and my wife won't like go out to eat as much, right? Like we want to do like a dinner. No, I prioritize that. So that's me.
Went to the diner yesterday. I had steak and eggs for breakfast. That's my way of cheating when I'm eating non-organic.
But that's
steak.
still good. That's good for people to hear. That's still.
Yeah.
I'd rather you do that than, even though you're not eating clean stuff, like where's the beef coming or whatever. Even though you're not doing that, you're hitting like the response that you're trying to get hormonally with the glucagon stuff. Like that's what you need to do. I'd rather you do that than eat a whole bunch of French toast with bacon with nitrates and.
But I did start thinking about the animal's life and saying, he probably wasn't treated very well. He's
Right.
probably not that nutritious. He's probably got some hormones and steroids in him. But that's my version of cheating. My old version of cheating used to be chicken wings and French fries and Philly cheesesteak and bread. And now it's like, oh, when I can't get a grass-fed steak, yeah, that's me getting off the program a little bit.
It's cool.
Yeah. Another question from Michaela Westhoff. I'm working one-to-one with her. She's a former Division I player and has a bright future ahead of her. She recently got injured. I have a herniated disc in my back that is causing drop foot. Moving forward, I want to develop the strongest core possible so I can continue to be active without injuring my back. Any core strengthening exercises that don't increase strain on the spine?
Yeah, I would start with core exercises first, before I would say jump right into, because sometimes the traction from dead hanging, the traction of that sometimes can, if you have an issue going on with the disc, but you 100% should be having your gaze on dead hanging. That's what your goal should be. It is so important. But just thinking of your core as a cylinder and hitting every angle of that cylinder. So the front part of your abs, the side part, the back, the QL, doing RDL stuff the right way. You don't need to go heavy and do weight. Just literally molding the strength around your whole spine and your lumbar. I'm assuming that's where the herniated disc is. I could be wrong. If she's asking about core. But yeah, the more you the more you're going to work that area too, there's probably going to be more blood flow going on. And the more blood flow you get to an area and you're doing the right things and not stressing it out because you're grabbing a whole bunch of weight off the floor the way you shouldn't be, the more blood flow, the more likely you're going to heal an area. And then I say hanging because it is decompression. You're trying to take your spine and pull it apart like a slinky. We all do the opposite every day. We literally just sit on a chair and gravity's just like sitting our spine down and our spine's just like going like this. And then if that disc gets through that crack a little bit, it's a problem. Yeah. And you have to decompress it.
Deep squats too?
Yeah, that just takes a little time. Sometimes in the beginning that won't work for them. And then, how are their hips, how are their knees? But I would definitely say the core exercises and hip exercises would be really, really good. Because the only way you're going to get it's going to be possible for you to really start strengthening your back really well, not just your stomach, your back, is you have to have a good pattern and a good ability to squat the right way and deadlift the right way and hinge the right way. So it's important that you strengthen the back.
Bro, you got me feeling wavy out here. The
Wavy,
3
right?
minutes of spinal waves that I did at the gym last week, the next day, I was just walking around the house like this.
Yeah.
My wife was like, oh, that's impressive that you're doing this. But I feel like a snake.
Yeah. Learning how to articulate your spine.
Someone that you could trust, though. Not like a snake in the grass who's going to, lie to you and cheat you.
It's cool once you get that awareness of.
I feel like I became,
probably,
I'm sorry to interrupt, bro. I feel like I became a better dancer overnight, too. And I don't have much rhythm.
That's one of the components in the movement method. You have to be able to essentially dance. That's one of the phases, if you kind of want to get into that, where it's just all put a camera on and you just have to put music on. It could be something just instrumental and just move. So that would be the mastery step of you doing spinal waves. Right now, you're doing them isolated and integrated. So, I'm making you do Paul, go to the wall and just go down, up, down. That's kind of the isolated way. Then it would be integrated. That's what you're getting into now. You're moving all around and you're feeling how free you are. Then it would be, okay, but how do you interact with something and improvise through that? That's what dancers do. And that's why dancers are the best movers in the world. They're the best movers. Anyone who dances, capoeira, breakdancing, ballet, especially breakdancing, because it is so on the spot of what they're doing and the strength involved in it. It is just mind-boggling what they can do. It's unbelievable that their body can contort like that with strength and handle it. It's really, really awesome. So yeah, you're basically You might be on the background dancer for one of the next Michael Jackson shows they have in Vegas or something.
So thanks for improving my confidence as a dancer. Matthew Kellogg mentions a brand called Paleo Valley. He's talking about the meat sticks, asking for your thoughts on them. Now, I've never heard of them. I just looked them up. Their website looks like they have some good stuff. They're selling bone broth protein. They're selling organic coffee. They have a beef tallow, olive oil, and venison sticks. So I already know they're probably a great company. What do you think?
I gotta look. I'm looking right now. Let me look.
We're checking it, Matthew. We'll get back to you. Hold, please.
Let's check out the
You look at their drop-down menu. I'm seeing 100% grass-fed protein. We like seeing that. Grass-fed bone broth. We love that.
Hold on.
Yo, when I was talking about raw milk on one of the videos, somebody on YouTube left a comment. Oh, badger milk changed my life. And I'm like, is that edible? Is that like a real thing? Are you messing with me?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to assume
I
that badger milk is not a thing. Have you? I think that was a joke, right?
You probably were joking.
Yeah, he was joking. He was foul and trolling us.
Yeah, this stuff is pretty. It's good. I just want to see the macros. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Mark's checking the macros,
No, it's
analyzing, scanning.
It's good. It's a little low on protein.
A little
It's
low on
good.
protein.
Yeah, it's just 6 grams of fat, 6 grams of protein, and 2 grams of carbs.
I saw you had a protein bar yesterday, a new brand. I was checking it out. Where'd you get that? What is that?
Where did I get that? I forgot where I got it. The Mush Bar. I used to get the oats. They had oats.
Oats are out.
Yeah, they had
O is for out.
they always had the like the Chicos. They were called Mush, and I liked the name. And they just had the good flavors like peanut butter, and I think they were pretty clean. Mush, well,
No.
clean in the sense of none of the ingredients. I'm not talking about where the oats came from. Let's see. They were basically like overnight. They were overnight oats. That's what they were. And I used to love them. And now they came out with bars, and they taste so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good like not that specific thing, but if you're eating something more for like maybe as an athlete, and like say you're a basketball player and you're having 4 games in one day at a tournament, that would be after like game 1, and you still got 3 games left. That'd be a good bar to have. It has a little bit more carbs in it and protein and fat. They just need fuel, because if they run out of fuel, they're going to crash very quickly on the court.
Thomas Oakley asked, what's the best protein bar out there? Not a lot of them.
I haven't really found like a perfect protein bar. I really haven't.
I think now that we're down the clean pathway, people need to adjust their expectations about what a protein bar is.
Maybe the
Because
RX
we've
bar.
circled around a couple clean ones, like
The RX bar. I
the
think.
RX is clean, but
that
what you'll
one's-
find is less protein content in a lot of these.
Yeah. Mhm.
As they go more natural, you're just not getting those high macros
And then
anymore.
the taste. No one really likes the taste of the RX bar.
I like it. I enjoy it.
I don't mind it. I just know a lot of people in that chew that it has to it, and
And there's another one, the one that says the ingredients on the front, like 3 egg whites, dates, almonds, and is that the
egg
RX?
yeah, egg
That's the
whites,
RX.
almonds, cashews.
I like
dates.
it. That was
Yeah,
good. My daughter likes it.
I think that's the cleanest one I've found so far.
But like
Yeah.
muscle milk, if you're looking for the traditional muscle milk, 35 grams of protein and 150 calories,
Dude, I used to eat.
We're not doing that
before
anymore.
basketball. I used to eat. Before basketball, I used to go to the gas station and get a big bag of watermelon Sour Patch Kids and eat that at practice. And from a performance standpoint, actually not a bad idea, because I'm playing basketball for 2 hours and I'm just kind of giving myself sugar, so I'm never like running out of sugar like while I'm burning it. If my daughter were playing sports, would I let her do that? Absolutely not. But at the time, being a little uneducated, from a performance standpoint, I was getting glucose. Okay, but the other thing I would eat was the protein bar. I forgot what brand it was. Was it like it wasn't a breakfast bar? It was like a supplement bar. It was like an energy bar. It kind of looked like, definitely not as clean, the RX bar, the same texture of it. I forgot what brand it was. I don't remember. I don't know if it was like, it wasn't GNC or whatever.
it's got 46 ingredients.
100%. Because what made me think of it, I used to just like eat this stuff because I'm like, it's fuel. It's fuel.
And you're thinking it's healthy.
Yeah, and I just remember like now that I think of it, just like the amount of acid reflux I was getting from eating all this bad stuff. Oh my God. I used to get it so bad. Like really, really bad. Mm-hmm. And you're sitting there like wondering, why does this happen? I don't know. Maybe it's because you ate all that. You ate candy for basketball practice and then had 2 chicken parm sandwiches before bed.
Maybe that's why you never averaged double digits.
Maybe.
I'm just kidding. You're a great all-around player.
It's so crazy. I don't know why I shot the way that I shot in high school. It was almost like I was trying to please the fundamental way of how I thought I needed to shoot. And I always comfortably, especially as I got stronger, liked the ball like over my head. And I didn't do it in high school. And as soon as I wasn't being told what to do anymore and I got to college, I was just like, I'm just going to play basketball how I want to play. And it completely like changed the way that I shoot. Like, I'm 1,000 times better shooter than I was in high school because I had the worst jump shot in all of the world. So I wasn't playing to score 30 points. I was playing to throw behind the back, no look passes whenever I was able to. That was my game. Mm-hmm. And impeccable defense. Impeccable.
I don't want you guarding me.
No, I was gonna know what.
Although the last time you guarded me, I was not dialed in, my friend.
Listen, you wanna? I'll make a deal with you. We could do it again.
We're gonna do it again.
Yeah, and if it's recorded, it has to be.
We should definitely do that.
Yeah, what we gotta do?
Once the weather warms,
you're definitely more dialed in.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day because I'm like, we haven't played pickleball since you've been this dialed in. Mm-hmm. And you were making me work when you weren't dialed in. So I'm like, damn, I wonder how much different he's going to be. Because you can just be lighter. Yeah.
Like my friend Matt says, we gonna see.
Yeah.
We will see, sir. Because I'm ready to schedule you in. I'm ready to play pickleball.
Okay.
Let's just leave you with this last note because Claudio's giving us the eyes like he's ready to go participate in something else. Claudia, anything to address on TikTok Live? Any comments there? Okay. Well, thanks for watching, guys. All 3 of you. Appreciate you. All right. Respect. We love you guys. I just want to let you know, Mark, look at me.
Got the vest on.
This is not the indentation of my chest muscles.
Walking around.
This is the ion vest, the weighted vest. It's part of my new stack.
Walking around like get rich or die trying.
Yeah, I'm the 6th member of G Unit.
Walking around like 50. 50.
So I added it to my daily routine last Friday. I wore it the entire work day. Mm-hmm. By the end of the day, I felt like I was carrying someone on my back. It was like hard to walk. But I worked out with it yesterday. It was nice being able to do like the kettlebell movements with a little bit of added weight around my core. And I'm obviously wearing it now. So
how about what I hit you with yesterday?
What'd you hit me with
yesterday?
You said,
can I do skin the cat with 7 extra pounds
I
on me?
know.
So you used to do skin the cat with 25 pounds extra on you, 20 pounds extra on you. You're like, yeah, you're right.
I really did appreciate your answer.
Yeah.
You were gung ho.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, because I mean, you're stronger. You're stronger now, and you had so much more unnecessary weight that you were holding through all of those things, and you were doing it. So you definitely could do it.
I was having a limiting belief.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like, I don't want to get hurt. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's smart to think.
It's a smart. That's a no joke move.
Yeah.
That's the move to think like that for.
Yeah, you don't want to play around with skin the cat.
No.
Rip your shoulder out of the socket.
I told you, don't play with the rings. You play with the rings, they'll play with you.
All right, leave us with something before we say bye to everyone and drop the kids off, Mr. Mark.
Dial in. Don't get overwhelmed. One thing at a time. Little wins add up at the end of the year. And if you could just kind of get going with this stuff, and whether maybe it's you picking out, some of the supplements that we spoke about, I think sometimes that can start motivating you. Like, I'm getting this, so I'm going to start doing this. And that turns into a domino effect of all the other habits. So, don't get overwhelmed, one thing at a time. And, if you ever need help, you know where we are.
That was fire. If you're serious about optimizing your health, energy, and longevity, then you have to dial in your nutrition and eliminate the junk that's holding you back. Here are 10 essential rules for clean eating to help you perform and live at your highest level. Number 1, eliminate ultra-processed foods. If it's in a box with a long ingredient list, it's not real food. Stick to whole, single-ingredient foods. Number 2, ditch seed oils. Avoid canola, soybean, and sunflower oils. Swap for butter, tallow, avocado oil, or extra virgin olive oil. Number 3, cut out refined sugar and artificial sweeteners. These spike cravings and harm your gut. Use raw honey, maple syrup, or monk fruit instead. 4, prioritize high-quality protein, grass-fed beef, wild-caught seafood, pasture-raised eggs that will fuel your recovery and longevity. Number 5, fuel with healthy fats. MCT oil, butter, animal fats, and coconut oil provide clean energy. Fat is not the enemy. Number 6, drink clean water only. Avoid chlorine, fluoride, and microplastics. Choose spring water, filtered water, or hydrogen-rich water. Number 7, choose organic, mold-free coffee. Most coffee contains mold and pesticides. Opt for lab-tested, toxin-free options. Number 8, optimize your carbs. Stick to organic fruit, raw honey, sweet potatoes, white rice, and other carbs from the earth. 9, say no to fake ingredients. If you see natural flavors, artificial colors, or preservatives, put it in the back. Number 10, mentally reject toxic foods. Train your mind to use the gag reflex at junk foods, fried foods, seed oils, ultra-processed snacks. Final thought, this is the best time in history to take control of your health. The tools and knowledge are here. No more excuses. Dial into your journey, eat clean, and upgrade how you live and perform. It is time to get dialed in. And until next time, Mr. Vaccaro, I love you, bro.
Love you, bro.
Thank you for listening to the Dialed In podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We want to hear from you and help you even more. So please reach out and connect with us at the dialedinpodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on one of our social media accounts. And remember to stay dialed in and choose to have the most amazing rest of your day.